I get flooded with messages like these at this time of the year, and I get it. We apply to 10, 15 universities wherever we think we have a shot, and we apply to a good mix of universities. But when the time comes to pick a final destination, it's nerve-wracking because you want to optimize everything. You want to make sure that you are not making a mistake in choosing your final university. You are making the best choice possible. Now, as much as I would love to give personal recommendation to everyone, it's not possible. So I wanted to create this video to highlight some of the mistakes that people make because they look at the wrong things when they're choosing their final university. So what are some of the factors that you should consider, and what are some of the factors you should not consider while choosing your final destination? That's what I will talk about on the other side of this intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you have received ton of admits from your applications, but now you're trying to make that final decision. So I'll do my best to help you, and the best advice I can give you is not to go by some flashy factors which will make you regret your decision later on. Now, I have seen thousands of international students go through these process, and sometimes they do make a mistake in here. So what I want to cover today is my agenda is number one, I want to talk about factors that can mislead you. So don't go by these factors. And second is the list of factors that actually matter. So try to base your decision on these things. So my hope is that at least with this video, you will be able to make a more informed decision regarding your master's destination. So without further ado, let's get started. So I would begin with the factors that can mislead you. And the number one factor here is the ranking or the brand name alone. I get it. If you have an admit from an Ivy League or a top 10 ranked university, it's a great brag point. It looks great on your resume. So I can see why you would be attracted towards it. But just be cautious that is it really good for your program, and will it give you the kind of movement you want in your career or not. So instead of looking at a university-wide ranking, which is what we generally look at, for masters, I prefer to look at the department specific ranking, and we have seen this again and again. A university might be ranked much higher, like University of Chicago or Duke University. They are ranked very high, especially for undergrads and all, but their CS department for a master's in CS are not the best ones. But on the other hand, Northeastern University or Stony Brook, their overall rank is pretty low, but their CS department for masters are actually pretty good and proven. So you should be looking more at department specific ranking. Also, if you're looking for certain kind of output, if you're very interested in research, for example, look at the research output from this program. And lastly, you must stalk the alumni from this program on LinkedIn. Where did they head to? What kind of companies and roles are they working in? Does this meet with your expectations and your target roles? And how to do this research properly on LinkedIn, I've explained that it's step by step on a previous video, so I'm just going to link it below in the description box. Do check it out and do your homework properly on the LinkedIn before choosing your final destination. The second misleading factor is employment stats. So students usually fall for these kind of lines on the university website. 90% placement within 6 months, or so and so students placed within Fortune 500 companies. These again sound great, but here's the catch. These stats usually combine domestic and international students. So they never tell you what percentage of the international students got the H-1B visa, for example, right? Now, as an Indian student, you face very different challenge. You need work visa sponsorship, you need work permits in different countries. So unless you know that how many companies are coming to campus and are they willing to sponsor the visa required for me to work in this country or not, the employment stats do not help me. So do not take these numbers at face value. Again, this is where you should be going on LinkedIn, searching for Indian students who studied your exact program and see where they are working now. That is your real employment stat. Third misleading factor is course names and descriptions. So I've seen time and time again students get excited by, oh, this university is offering a course like machine learning in healthcare or AI for climate change, and I'm very passionate about this, so I'll take that course. But here's the real feedback from two of my clients. Somebody went to CMU MISM program 12-month track, and they told me that they could not get a single course that they wanted to go for because they used to get filled so quickly once the registration opened. So many of the exciting courses are actually sometimes inaccessible for you for different reasons. So do find out what are the courses that students usually end up taking, are they exciting or not. And second story I heard is again, like, at UIUC I took some software courses that were looking really exciting on the paper, but professor was really boring. So how that course would be taught in the class, how useful it would be for you, is very hard to predict by just looking at the name of the elective. So don't go too much by, like, the course names and how exciting they sound. Do talk to alumni and get a real feedback from them about what subjects or courses really helped them and how many such courses are available for you. So those were the factors that don't matter, they mislead you. But now let's talk about what really matters, okay? And in here I want to begin with the biggest one, is finances. This year is extremely tough. I'm hearing very, very deserving candidates are also struggling for jobs, and with Trump's closure of Department of Education and tightening the education grants, etc., the funding may not be that easily available either. So in this year or for coming next 2-3 years, I don't want to be spending unnecessarily high on my masters in US. That is a fact. So you should be doing a calculation on how much this cost is going to realistically cost you, okay? So obviously you will be taking a look at the tuition fee, but go beyond that. First of all, find out what are the chances of getting an assistantship here. So for example, UIUC, UT Austin, maybe Wisconsin Madison, Georgia Tech. These are the places where you can get funding more easily than something like CMU or Columbia. So try to find out your net cost of education, and we have done this in detail in our funding masterclass. I think if you're heading to US, you must take a look at that and try to understand how to make the finances work for you. Okay, so find out the net cost of your education, then also look into how are the on-campus jobs at all a possibility, because they definitely help you combat your living expenses. Lastly, also look at the cost of living in this city. Obviously, UCLA, USC, NYU, these are going to be super expensive, but University of Florida is going to be much cheaper. So do a realistic calculation of how much this is going to cost you, and you want to optimize that. Trust me, I am myself saying that if it means going to a slightly lower ranked school to save some money, it's okay, okay? So just know that sometimes a university with slightly higher tuition but better RATA opportunities and a lower cost of living can turn out way more affordable than a cheaper university in an expensive city. So do your calculation but optimize for finances. Second factor that matters for me is how job friendly the location is. Now we have just talked about we want to balance out the finances, optimize it, but at the same time you also want to optimize by being closer to a job friendly location, which is usually the metro cities. So for me, the hottest location in US right now are Austin, Boston, New York, Seattle, Chicago and Bay Area. So if you don't want to be absolutely in the downtown part of the city, obviously, but try to be on fringe of it, or at least in a drivable location, because location actually plays a big role. It single-handedly found me jobs when I was doing my MBA at NYU, because it gave me access to networking opportunities. I could meet many founders. I could do semester-long unpaid internships. So I was very in touch with the startup world. I wanted to work in that, and I got 2 job offers just because I was in New York City. So can you make this happen for yourself? So some of the interesting options here could be, you don't want to be in NYU, too expensive, but Stony Brook is good because it's just a train ride away from New York City. Rutgers is good. Even like, places in some areas of New Jersey and Hoboken side, where I think Stevens is right there. So something around New York City is good, something around Austin is good, UMass Amherst, which is not exactly in Boston but close by, is good. So look into these universities and options, and if you have multiple universities to choose from, choose a location which is more job friendly. Third is academic fit. Now I told you don't go by how glamorous the courses are sounding, but so what do you want to check in here? You want to check in is what are the core course requirements and do they match with what I want to do. So for example, one of my client headed to UT Austin MSOR operations program because she thought it's like close enough from data science or analytics. But the core course requirement for OR courses involves a lot of operation courses which are very cut and dry. So she did not really enjoy that. And when you have to pay for those courses, the credits that you are taking, it really hurts that I'm taking a course that I'm not at all excited about, but I have to pay the tuition for it. And same thing I heard at MIT SDM course also. A person was not happy with some of the very cut and dry theoretical courses that they had to do, but they were compulsory. So do look at the core course requirements and am I willing to go for that or not? Does this overall major align with what I am excited about? And then will they also give me the access to electives I am excited about? So for example, sometimes like, they will limit the number of electives you can take from other departments. So check that out. Who are the professors in your field? As I say, optimize for professors. Like I've often taken courses which had very, very good professors, even though the subject was not exactly what I wanted, but interesting enough. And I really enjoyed those courses at NYU. So I think you can do that as well. So take the feedback from your senior batch and enroll in courses that are really exciting, interesting, and also useful. And lastly, don't forget the length of the program, right? So if you have work experience less than 2-3 years, I think definitely go for a course which allows for summer internship, which means it should be at least 1.5 year or 2 year long course. Do not go for 1 year course unless you have very, very long work experience, because this job market is just brutal. Next, I want to look at is university support for jobs and funding. So for example, I've heard from UC Berkeley students that they have amazing Slack groups with the previous alumni, which makes networking very easy. So that really helped them in the job hunt. And also on these groups, they regularly announce the funding opportunities for TARA-ship. So that really helped. So your school should have a good resources, career center, etc. to help you with the job hunt. That is always a plus. Similarly, Northeastern program, very famous for its co-op program, right? And I've seen how it single-handedly helped some of the students with the lesser work experience, because they could do the co-ops, make that connection, and that really helped them with the job hunt, which may not have happened if they would have gone to some other university. And I've heard a negative point from an MIT SDM client who said that most of the networking events, career fairs, they were just restricted to the MBA student, and as somebody who was aspiring for product management role, she could not access those, and this was really frustrating. And also SDM course was fairly new at that point of time. So look at what kind of networking and career opportunities or resources are being provided by this university. It's always good to get some help on resume reviews, interview prep, job fairs, or professional industry linkages. Number 5, I would really consider what is the reputation of this course in your major or for your career goal. Like I said earlier, don't just chase big names. Like, okay, I know Columbia is a heavyweight name, but it also comes at a price tag which is not affordable for many people. But if I'm targeting finance, I would rather head to CUNY Baruch College, which is not flashy, but in finance it is super respected, especially in New York City. In fact, it's a feeder school for many of the investment banking roles. So try to pick those universities which may be niche but very, very respected in your field, and sometimes they are there. So you have to just find out about it and make a decision to choose them over flashy, big name, high price university, because that can definitely save you money and some headache later on. And last factor I would say is your own mental health and well-being. Now it's a foreign environment you're going to, and it's not a very friendly environment at this stage, right? You would see deportations are happening. You will keep hearing of people being detained on visa. You will feel restricted about some things on campuses. In such a environment, you want to really take care of your mental health, and this is a direct factor of how social how socially connected the campus is, and secondly the weather. So I know people do not think about this often, but weather directly affects your mood or productivity. It does not help when you go to Midwest or like Northeast kind of campuses where you come out of the campus at 3:30 p.m. and it's pitch dark outside. It's really depressing. So if you're a person who's sensitive about these matters, who have at all any concern related to mental health, avoid very cold, dark or depressing locations like Buffalo, like Michigan, like Wisconsin, and go to more sunny state like Florida or Texas. Trust me, it really does matter. And secondly, where do you have the friends or support system? Prefer that. Like honestly, having a social support system can make a lot of difference. So if you have family or friends in some areas, be closer to them. It can really make a big difference, especially again if you're sensitive about mental health issues. It always helps in because you will be living there, you're building a life there, you want to be in a friendly environment. So those are the real experience backed factors I want you to carefully think about before making your final master's decision. And here's my ultimate advice: don't overthink it, don't overanalyze it, because in the end what you do at the university matters way more than what the university does for you. I've seen students from lower ranked colleges land top jobs, and I've seen students from elite universities struggle. It all comes down to your hustle, your ability to find funding, your effort in job search, right? So just pick a university, commit to it, make the most of it. Where you need to put more efforts in is now trying to make it as cheap for you as possible, and get the jobs that you've always wanted to, for which you're sacrificing so much. So focus on your career goals, right? University is just a pathway to get there. So now you need to focus on number one, funding, and second is internship and job hunt. So we do have resources around these. We have awesome funding masterclass and internship and job hunt masterclass. I will leave the links below. Check it out. And once you have made your university decision, go and work on these things so that you can save big money when you go there, and obviously get the kind of jobs you have always wanted to. So you have already come this far, and that tells me you have what it takes to go for. So just go for your dreams, guys. This is the moment you have all been waiting for, and I'm so happy to see you all land so many good offers. So this was it from my side. I really wish you all the best from my heart, and I will see you guys again next week with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.